and this tutorial is how to make a chevron friendship bracelet just like this one. I've also included a little tutorial on how to add the crimp at the end and attach a clasp. Now, if you haven't already made a friendship bracelet before, make sure that you watch my video on how to do the friendship bracelet knots, and you should probably practice making a couple candy stripe bracelets before you try making the chevron. Before you get started, you'll need 3 types of embroidery floss, a roller, some scissors, and either a clipboard or a safety pin to hold down your bracelet. To get started, you'll need to cut all 3 of your strings to about 60 inches. Now that you've cut your string, find the ends of all of your strings, then grabbing the ends of them, pull until you find the middle of those strings. Now, I do have my video on how to start and finish your friendship bracelets in several different ways, but for this one I am just going to do a loop. Not too big, not too small. Lay out your strings in a mirror image of each other. I've put some numbers up here at the top as a reference because I know that helps for some people. A chevron bracelet is basically just 2 candy stripe bracelets that are attached in the center. So that means that the whole left side of your bracelet is going to be just the same as a candy stripe bracelet, in this instance with 3 strings. And the right side is going to be a mirror image of that, which means with a candy stripe you've tied on from left to right using forward knots. So on this half you'll have to tie on from right to left using backward knots. So let me show you how we do that. Ignore the right side to begin with and start doing your forward knots on the left side. When you're doing your forward knots, make sure that you're pulling your strings up and to the right, otherwise your bracelet will end up full of holes. So that's done on that side for now, and now the string that was on number 3 is now in number 1. And be very careful that you keep your strings in a mirror image of each other. So remember, when we started on the left, this blue string was in number 3. So I've got the blue string in number 3, the pale pink in number 2, and the magenta in number 1. And I'm going to tie on from right to left using backward knots. And I'm going to pull those knots up and to the left. Just like that. And then when I get to the center, I'll do a forward knot using the right string as the base string and the left string to tie on. Just do a regular forward knot, do the first part kind of loose, and on the second part, before you pull it tight, switch the strings and pull them out to the sides. For some reason, if I do this forward knot the same way as these forward knots, this knot right here flips over on me, and that's the only way I've found that really makes that better. So keep doing your forward knots up and to the right. And your backward knots. Pull your string up and to the left. Then when you get to the center, do the first part of that forward knot kind of loose, and on the second part, flip your strings and pull them out and to the sides. Forward knots. Then backward knots. And do your forward knot in the middle. The first part a little loose, and then on your second half of it, before you pull the knot tight, flip them over, and then pull. And you'll just keep going until your bracelet is the length that you want it. When you've gotten your bracelet to the length that you want it, unclip it and tie a knot at the end of your work. On this one, I cut the loop off of one end, and I'm going to trim the other end to about 1/4 inch. I decided that on this one, instead of using a loop and a button, I'd rather have some clasps. So I do have a video on how to do this, but if you haven't seen that, you should, for one, go back and watch it, and here's a quick little tutorial. I'm just going to put a little bit of tacky glue on the trimmed end of the bracelet, smear it in like that, measure the end of this to fit into the crimp end, press it in place, and using some pliers, bend one side of the crimp about halfway down, then bend the other side in, and press the whole thing the rest of the way down. Now do the same on the other side. Once you've got your two crimps attached, attach a clasp on a small jump ring with another jump ring. This will make it easier to put on than if you only have one jump ring. Close it up. And attach a couple of large jump rings to the other crimp. And your chevron bracelet is complete.